Hello. The purpose of this video would just be to show my eyeshadow palette collection. A few of my friends and co-workers and miscellaneous people have asked to see how many palettes I have accumulated in the last 4 to 5 months. I've only been a collector for about maybe 5 months. So stay tuned and I will show you just exactly what I've been purchasing in store and online. The first palette here is my most recent palette that I received. It's the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I ordered it from, I'm not sure where I ordered it from, but I ordered it online. And it smells like peaches. I haven't used it yet. I actually just got it like 2 days ago. The next palette I have here is the Rock Pro 3, and I've used it a few times. This is actually one of my more favorite palettes. Next I have the Masquerade palette by Juvia's Place. It doesn't look like I used this, but I have used it. This is one of my favorite palettes too. Next I have the Nubian 2 by Juvia's Place. Another one of my favorite palettes. I think my son BJ dug in that. I'm not sure what happened. This is the limited edition Alice Looking Through the Glass. I've used this quite a few times. Since I'm just getting into eyeshadows, what I prefer to do now is I don't purchase bulky packaging like this. It's just a hassle to tote around with you. Although I like this palette, I rarely reach for it just because of the huge packaging. It's not somewhere it's not a palette that I would take somewhere out of my house to do my makeup. And this was very expensive. I think it was like $60 at the time I purchased it. The Urban Decay Naked palette. This is actually my second Urban Decay palette. My first one was stolen. Excuse that image of me. I look a mess. I love this palette. Next is also a recent purchase. It is the Smoky Naked palette by Urban Decay. Makeup Addiction Cosmetic palette. This is a good palette too. I love this palette. It's one of my favorite colors, the orange color. Then I have another Makeup Addiction palette, the Vintage palette. Let's see if I can get it open with one hand. Again, the top 3 are my favorite colors, but I like the entire palette. Next, I have the Too Faced Bonbon palette. This is a second purchase. I've had this already, but it was stolen, so I had to repurchase it. I do like that palette. This was actually my first high-end palette that I ever purchased. As you can see, it's beat up. I use it a lot, and my toddler got to it. This right here, Pink Sugar, I actually had to press it back in because it fell out. Next palette is the Kat Von D Shade and Light. I love this palette. One of my favorite palette. Excuse my nails. This is a good matte brow bone color I use. I also use this color mixed with this to set underneath my eyes with my concealer. Next, I have the Carly B palette. Carly Bible palette, okay. This is a second purchase for me. I had this and it was stolen. Yeah, I like this. I use the highlighters as highlighters and I use it as eyeshadow. The next palette I have here is a Blushed Neutrals 26 color eyeshadow palette from BH. This palette is okay. It's okay if you're looking for an inexpensive palette and you don't want to spend a lot of money. If maybe one of my friends was coming over to get ready and do makeup and they weren't into makeup, I would let them use this palette here. But it's not something that I reach for. Actually, I use this since I'm still learning how to apply my eyeshadow. I'll use this if I'm just messing around to see how, well, to practice basically. Next, I have Smoky Eyes 28 color. I do like this palette a lot more than the last one I just mentioned. But again, this is not a palette that I reach for to do my makeup. It's more so a palette I use to practice. Next, I have, I'm not going to do those as shit, the Morphe 35F palette. This is a second purchase for me. I did have this and it was stolen also. I have not used this one yet, but I do like this palette. The last one I had, I used it a couple times before it was stolen. So that's why I repurchased it, because I did like it. And the Morphe 350, sorry, the Morphe 350. This is a second purchase. I highly recommend this palette for someone who likes warm tones and they want an inexpensive palette that creates high-end looks. They do have this palette now in all shimmer. I wasn't in a rush to go out and get it just because I have so many palettes, but this is also a good palette. Next, I have the Nubian palette by Juvia's Place. This was actually, I think, the first palette I bought from the company. I love all the palettes by them. Anything they come out with, I will be purchasing. I know quite a few people have issues with them and their customer service, but I do love that product. Next, this is something that I ran out and got once I saw the reviews on YouTube. It's the Estee Edit highlighter and eyeshadow palette, and they do come apart. This is the highlighters. I also use these as eyeshadows. The only thing I dislike about this palette is they don't have the names for the price. They don't have the names already on the palette. It's on a sheet, which I hate. This other side is to die for. I think I paid about $50, $60 for this, but it's worth it. The quality is phenomenal. Next, I have the Too Faced chocolate bar by Too Faced, and this is a second purchase. Believe it or not, I had this and it was stolen also. I love this palette. It is my favorite of all the Too Faced palettes. I can't actually say it's better than the peach because I haven't used it yet. Next, I have the Shannon XO palette. I have mixed feelings about this palette here. I have never used the lip products. I'm not too fond of having lip products inside of a palette, but I do use this palette a lot. It may not look like it, but I do use it a lot. This I use to set my concealer before I apply my eyeshadow, and a lot of times I just use this if I want a burnt orange looking color in my crease if I'm in a rush. But I do like this palette. I use it a lot. Next, I have the 2016 Christmas palettes by Too Faced. I'm a sucker for Too Faced products just because the packaging is to die for. This is the Peppermint Mocha. It actually smells like peppermint. I can't say these are the same quality. This is the eggnog latte, and it smells like eggnog. And this is the ginger. I do use these palettes. I use this right here, gingerbread, as a bronzer, and I do use it in my crease as a transition color. I can't say they're the same quality as the palettes that Too Faced have out at all. I have the BH Marble palette. I do not like this palette. I'm glad I didn't spend a lot of money on it. I feel like it is a waste. The mattes are like a silky matte, if that makes sense. I don't know, it reminds me of like a kid palette. But either way, I'm still going to use it because I love the top row. Actually, I love all the colors in here. Yeah, I have to play with it more, but it's not something that I'm loving. By far my favorite palette. It is extremely dirty because I use it a lot. I've actually hit pan on, if I can get it open, on Tempur, which is a great matte a great matte eyebrow eyeshadow, and I can use that also to set my concealer before I apply my eyeshadow. But I love every color in here. I don't think I've used, well, I have used Warm Taupe, but a little bit of it. But I love this. This is something that I would repurchase as a backup. I think I'm going to do that this year. Repurchase this palette. Next, I have contour and blush palette. These are like, I use these. Yes, but I don't actually use them as blush. I use them as eyeshadow, and I use this color here to set my concealer. They're a little powdery, but same with this blush palette. Same with this blush palette here. I use as eyeshadow. As you can see, I love orange. That actually comes up really nice on the eye. Next, I have the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye palette. I love Kat Von D palettes. I actually had the whole set. The rest of them were stolen. This just so happened to be in my work bag. I do plan on repurchasing the rest of them, but I love this. It stays inside my work bag because I love burgundies. I love warm tones. I love burgundies, oranges. The next is the Electric palette. I recently purchased this because it was on sale and I had nothing like it in my collection. And I'm not afraid to wear color. So this, I haven't used yet, but I do love that palette. Next, I have the BH Zombies palette, which is all right. Really, it's nothing to write home about, but yeah, see, I actually bought it for that orange color and that shimmer over there. But if I ever did like a declutter, this would go. Next, I have the Cargo palette, Around the World Cargo palette. This is a new purchase, if I can get it. That's why it's still in the box. I have used it, I think, once. Yes, I have used it once. I like this. I actually took the brush out of here and use it to apply my eyebrow pomade. Next, I have the Makeup Forever palette. I love this palette. This is also a new purchase. I have to get more of these shadows. I want to get the single shadow. Sorry if you hear noise. That's my son kicking around his Legos. Next, I have the Timeless Beauty palette. Everyone was saying this was a dupe for the Becca palette, and I pretty much didn't care to get the Becca palette. Like, this is enough for me. This is beautiful. I don't see myself purchasing. Look, if I can get it to focus. I don't see myself purchasing the other palette. I like that a lot. Next, I have the Gwen Stefani Urban Decay palette. This is also like a recent purchase for me. I like these shadows a lot. I have used this once or twice. Next, I have the Tartelette in the Boom palette. I love this too. This is something that I would keep in my bag, like my work bag or just my purse, because it's not too bulky and it's neutral colors. Next, I'm gonna try to speed this video up. I have the Lorac Pro, which is a second purchase for me because I've already had it and it was stolen. It's not much to pretty say about this palette except it's the bomb, and if you are into makeup, I'm sure you have that in your collection. Next, I have the Totally Cute Too Faced palette, which I like a lot. This is another palette I keep in my pocketbook. And then I have the Peanut Butter and Jelly, which I love. This is another one that sometimes go inside my pocketbook. This is a second purchase, and so is the Totally Pink because I had them before. That's how good they are. I had to repurchase them. Next, I have two palettes from Icon Eyeshadow. I don't know why I don't hear too many people talking about these, but these palettes are phenomenal. And I have palettes that I paid a lot of money for, and these are good. I take the brushes out of them because they have pretty good brushes in here. This is I don't know which one this is, the Twilight or what, because it was labeled on the box. And this is the second one. They're all shimmers, no mattes. I like this. Before I got into high-end eyeshadows, I purchased that. This is an eyeshadow palette that I made on my own. I depotted some of my, excuse me. I depotted some of my Milani and Elf single eyeshadows because it's a mess too. I'm going to eventually buy a Z palette so I can put them in there. Next, I have this City Color palette, which is bomb. Hold on one second, I can give you swatches of it. Yeah, this is a City Color, and these are swatches of it. This was only $5. You can actually find this at Five and Below. I like that a lot, especially for the price. Here, I'm not going to take it out, but this is the Anastasia Moonchild highlighting palette. I think I'm going to give that to my niece. Here I have the Wet n Wild palette. I don't know what's the name of this one, but I love all Wet n Wild eyeshadows. Here I have the Comfort Zone, which is my favorite palette by Wet n Wild, and I bought a backup. I think I have like another backup upstairs. Here I have an e.l.f. palette. I got this basically free. It's a good eyeshadow palette. I wouldn't say it's okay. The Wet n Wild, they're like high-end eyeshadows. They come with blush. I do love the blush more. Oh, I messed them up. The blush more than the eyeshadows. Next, I have Pure Cosmetics. I'm not going to open this because I'm gifting it to someone. I don't even know why it's in here. And I have two Morphe small palettes. I'm not going to go through them. These were meh. Okay. Good to have in your purse. I have a ton of quads. I'm not going to go through these because this video is already at 21 minutes. I want to finish in 1 minute. But last but not least, I ran around Philadelphia looking for these Beauty Treats eyeshadows because I strongly believe they are the dupe for the Viseart palettes. I saw a YouTube video where they are dupes. I don't care what anyone says. And in my mini travels, I found this. I have not used this yet. But I have used this, and this is bomb. I have seen videos for this. If you are looking for inexpensive palettes and you're not really into makeup, I suggest you run out and get these. You can find them at Five and Below for $2 each. I like these just as much as I like my $60 palettes that I have. This is a fave. I use it every time I do my makeup. It was a gift from my friend Bridget. It's actually the second purchase because someone actually stole the original one she gave me. I have some quads, but I have to go now because BJ is requesting my attention. I do have a few more palettes here that I'm not going to be able to get to. This video is already long, so maybe I'll do a part 2. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.